In this episode, our guest is Simulon Webcracks from the planet Libraria, which is solely inhabited by writers.
He has 39 eyes and 7 ears of various shapes, and his passions are writing, making insurance money from arson, and organization.
So roll up your towel into a pillow, lean back, and
prepare to learn about Bigs in a Blanket, the Rui Recimal System, and Trellis's ex-wife Carol's book.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to Millyways, the restaurant at the end of the universe, for the Hitchhikers and Appetizers podcast. Here in booth 42, I am, of course, Horatio Zinn, but I would not be complete without my co-host, Trellis Gardeen. Trellis.
always good to be back, but we never really leave, so can we really say we're back?
No.
The booth is basically our permanent home as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, if I didn't have to go to the facility, use the facilities, I would never leave the booth.
Eventually, we're going to probably have to move to let the cleaning crew come through, but for now, I'm good.
Yeah, I like having something to balance my feet up on. I have a pile of discarded bones I use as a bit of a footstool. Oh, no, it fell.
Oh, Horatio, you never cease to amaze me.
I don't either.
You reach new levels of slovenliness that I formerly would have thought were unattainable.
No, I am a goalkeeper.
You are persistent.
We have a guest.
Yes, we do.
I am going to wager that our guest's name is Simulon Webcracks.
And that is a wager that you shall win, good Horatio. It is so wonderful to be here. I have been a long time fan of both of your work, eating at this table.
How unusual.
How oft I have sat at the bar and noticed the comings and goings of your various guests and friends, and longed for the invitation over to your hallowed booth, and now, dreams have come true.
Oh, that's what I'm here. I'm here to make dreams come true.
I saw some of the excitement on your face, Simulon, when I was walking by, and it piqued my interest.
Yes.
And I thought, this is our next guest.
And you were right.
Well, it's hard not to conceal my excitement with a face like mine. I have 39 eyes in various spots around my skull, and they're oft wide open.
So you saw me coming, is what you're saying?
Yes, I did.
No sneaking up on you to be a surprise guest.
If you come 37 degrees to my anterior, that's a eye-bereft part of my cranium, so that would be possible to surprise me. But other than that, I'm well fortified with ocular sensibilities.
How's your hearing? I'm just getting into the senses with all those eyes.
My hearing is average. I would say on a good day I hear most things. On a bad day I hear fewer things. I rarely hear more things. But yes, I think my hearing is status quo, as they say.
Well, there are worse things. Below status quo would be worse.
This seems like one of those where, if you lose a sense, the other ones pick up. But in this case, you've got vision sense to the maximum. Therefore, maybe your hearing said, we're fine.
It's good. It's like my hearing that said, well, we'll let the vision take this. It needs it.
Let vision take the wheel.
We have other things to do.
Yes!
Now, do you only have 2 ears? How many ears are we talking here?
I have 7 ears of various shapes.
Lovely shapes, all of them.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I have the larger shaped ear in between my posterior eyes on my front. I have 2 bell-shaped ears on the southeast and southwest side of my cranium, and then I have the flugel-shaped ears on my dexterous side, and then the other ears, around.
Just around it. They migrate around your body, or does it depend different places according to different beings on your world?
Oh, that's a wonderful point, Horatio. Yes, they do migrate with the track system, my auricular track system on my skull. So if one of the ears needs to be at a different spot, it just zips right across, and it's very pleasing. It massages my skull. I never get migraines.
Yes, I know. We had a friend who had 4 heads, and when 2 of them had the migraine, that was not a good situation.
Yeah, I know Victor. I know.
You know Victor, yes. Victor had 4 heads, migraine. Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Don't go on a road trip with Victor, because at some point, migraines. And of course, he gets vehicle sick.
Right. And let's be honest, they crop up at very convenient times for Victor.
Yes.
Oh gosh, you can predict a Victor migraine whenever the bill comes by or whenever
We put on a show together, and he would always get a migraine unless he got a solo spot. Strangely enough, group scenes, migraine, could not do anything. Solo spot, he felt fine.
Nothing cured his migraine faster than a spotlight, is what you're
Yes,
saying.
a single spotlight, or all spotlights being on him.
He was photosensitive.
That's what he said. Yes, he loved to have photos taken of himself.
Now, you said you've been at the bar for a while, so is there a reason you've been hanging out here for so long, or what brings you to us from? We didn't even actually ask your homeworld yet.
It's on the 49th latitude. It is Libraria. It is the planet of books.
Oh!
Yes, I was convened over here about 2 weeks ago in order to interview applicants for Libraria's book fair, which is coming up.
Oh, I have been thinking about turning my poetry work into a book. Would that be something?
I think you should.
Would that be? Well, I only have like 2 or 3 at this point, so it might be more of a pamphlet than a book. But is that something your book fair might be interested in, and possibly an author's appearance?
Trellis, I have been dreaming of this moment because I should admit that my visit over to your booth did have ulterior motives. I have read 1.5 of your poems.
Oh.
Yeah, Trellis, they're brilliant. They are genius incarnate. They are philosophy.
Oh, yes.
On a page.
Oh.
And yes, I am here to request your appearance at Libraria's book fair.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got that. They're very short, but they're very dense.
It's Cumin, how you doing?
That, of course, is one of his longest.
And then astral projection gives us the connection.
Yeah.
And now I can say I've heard them all. The first one, the Cumin one.
Yes.
I just poured over that. And my poetry discussion group, we really...
It's been discussed?
Oh, yes. Yes, we have a poetry discussion group that meets every Tuesday evening at a rotating location, depending on which member can host.
Right.
The Cumin poem. Oh, I was gobsmacked by that because it just highlighted a universal truth, and just the use of repetition I thought was so brilliant.
Yes.
A lesser poet would have only said Cumin one time.
Right.
But Trellis, you instinctively knew that we needed to hear it reiterated, resonated.
Well, the first time you hear it, you almost don't hear it.
It drives the theme home.
Yes.
Yes. Cumin. If he had put 3 in there, I think it would have been a bit too aggressive.
Oh, no, that...
Cumin.
No, that would have been an assault. Just the duality of Cumin. The first time I read it, I almost didn't see the first Cumin. My eyes were already on the second Cumin before I was like, wait a second. I've read this word before, and it was right before the word I'm reading right now. And that made me think, well, wait, the author is doing something here.
That word just makes me think of how people overlook Horatio and get to me. I'm like the second Cumin.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I'm talking to Trellis, and I'm like, wait a second, there's somebody else here too, and it's Horatio. And then I'm like, yes.
There's a presence.
Yes. I am a retroactive thought.
That's classic first Cumin thinking.
Isn't it? He dedicated that poem to me.
The dedication was actually longer than the poem.
Yes, dedicated to many, many, many beings.
Well, that's a mark of a good poem. If the dedication is longer than the actual poem itself, then you realize, all of this legwork that's gone into writing the poem I'm reading, it's like the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Then you realize, wait a second, there's more to it underneath.
Yeah, well, also the titles for his poems are much longer than the poem combined with the thank yous and the dedications. In a delightful way, of course.
I was going to say, Trellis, the thing I like about your poems are that the dedications, they almost read as if you're accepting an award or something. They're telling a story, they're thanking us, and I like that.
Yes, that's very important, I think, to thank the people that got you there.
Yes, and others who might help you out along the way.
and others that you've taken advantage of to get you there. They all need to be included.
Yes.
You always want to include your influences and your victims in any creative work.
Yes. And of course he includes all his ex-wives.
They're a source of constant
Inspiration?
hatred.
I did have drinks with Carol earlier.
Carol.
Oh.
Whoa, she's the worst.
Although I think she would say the same of you, Trellis, which is
Well, that's,
why you're such a lovely pair.
I'm sure she droned on about the excessive plastic surgery for me.
No, she didn't need any at all. You did.
No, she didn't.
She's Venus incarnate.
I am like a physical poem that's constantly being worked on.
The thing I like about you, Trellis, is that you are you're like a first draft, and we get to see all your markings and your red lines and your suggestions and the marginalia.
Yes.
And Carol, it's like the creators were just like, nope, we're done. This is perfection.
Perfect.
Yep.
Marginalia, that sounds dirty.
It can be if it's done right. Yeah.
I'm excited actually because Carol's novel is going to be the keynote book presentation at the Libraria Book Fair.
When did she never wrote anything when we were married. What did she write?
Oh, it is gorgeous. It is a 700-page mystery novel that spans 5 generations on a horse farm. And it's about a plucky young horse trainer named Marjorie Salinswood, and she murders someone on the first page.
Oh,
Good start.
And that's what's genius about it, because it's a murder mystery where you know exactly who did it, why they did it, and how they did it, and then later, one of the other characters makes the realization that the reader made at the beginning.
because the character's not reading the first page. How
No!
would they know? How would
Yeah,
they
of
know?
course, that would be absurd.
We always forget that we are reading the books, not the characters.
Correct.
I find it incredibly annoying when the characters in books read me.
Yes.
I think that's just rude.
Yes.
That's a publisher overstepping their bounds.
It's invasive, Horatio.
Invasive, yes.
I want to go into their world.
Yes.
I'm going into their world. They shouldn't be coming into my world.
If I wanted them in my world, I would write about my world and invite them to read about it.
I didn't invite them over. This is a one-way relationship.
Exactly.
Yes. So Carol's book. Now I have to wonder, is there a Trellis-based character?
Am I permitted to share? Are you the kind of people who enjoy spoilers, or are you the kind of people who say, no, don't tell me anything, I want to discover it on my own?
I have no restraint. I just want to know things. I have been known to travel into the future to find out how a particular series that I'm watching ends.
Look at all the crumbs and leftovers on his plate, Simulon. Is he someone who exercises that looks like they exercise restraint? No.
Pedal to the metal.
I think that's more like palate to the metal.
Oh yes. The diet starts tomorrow.
Oh, always tomorrow.
So the character Marjorie murders this bloviating raconteur who's always toadying up to others, and his name, and is always deeply distressed about his physical appearance and making minor adjustments, unnecessary. Some necessary, some unnecessary, some culturally accepted, some culturally frowned upon. And this character is named Ellis.
I like this character.
Ellis.
Yes.
I like this character.
And Ellis has augmented his features, I'm assuming.
Yes, he has augmented and refined and posed. He's like a sculptor who can't put his chisel down.
It sounds familiar. I think that character might have something to do with you, Trellis.
All great artists are constantly tinkering.
Yes.
And you as well.
Yes.
Now, are there going to be snacks at the book club?
That is very important.
Well, Libraria has a strict no full meal policy on our planet. We are a planet of appetizers and snacks.
Oh, lovely.
There shall be naught but snacks.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
We are having bigs in a blanket,
Yes, pigs in a blanket, yes.
where we put big things like elephants or
Limps.
limps. Yes.
Good.
We wrap them up in a blanket and then we eat them.
have you ever put a blanket in a blanket? Again, the dual theme.
That's the kind of thinking that can only spring from the mind of the genius who gave us Cumin.
Cumin, how you doing?
We did do a blanket in a blanket. I had a friend in college who really took a walk on the wild side. He was crazy. He did a blanket in a blanket.
Has he recovered?
He passed away earlier this year. Yes.
I'm so sorry. Was it blanket in a blanket related?
It was. He choked on the interior blanket, and none of us knew a method to disgorge the interior blanket from his trachea, because obviously the exterior blanket was hiding the actual thing that he was choking on. The exterior blanket expelled from his mouth, but the interior blanket found purchase in his trachea, and so he...
you know what? I think I've just come up with a poem to honor your friend.
Oh.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, Trellis. I'm too raw. Give it to me.
Blanket. That's it.
That's wonderful. Now, I enjoy the boldness of the total disregard for rhyme.
But good poems don't need to rhyme.
No.
They just need to say something.
That was raw.
Oh.
I love the sputum that wound up on the table when you were making those sounds. It made it more real.
The beautiful thing about your phlegm, Trellis, is that some of it, look at this right by the salt shaker. That's in the shape of Roger's head. Oh.
I'm sorry, just taking a moment in mourning for someone I didn't know. Oh, I'm done.
Oh, that's empathy. That's empathy.
I'll go right ahead. You look like Trellis. You were about to say something.
No. I was going to allow Simulon, if he wanted to talk more about his friend, because I could see he's clearly... I think there are tears in all 39 eyes. They're all welling up.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got an extra towel if you'd like to damage your eyes with this.
Thank you.
It's my clean one. I say use it only for guests.
I love a superfluous towel, and I am lachrymose from 26 of my eyes. 13 of my eyes are sympathy crying, but the 26 eyes are legitimate empathy.
Did they have a problem with Roger?
He did owe me some money, and he would leave dishes everywhere. He never paid for any of our screening media charges. He invited riffraff over at all hours.
Oh.
He burned our house down.
Now that would be a bit of a deal breaker for a roommate for me.
It's a deal maker for me because we had just taken out an insurance policy on it.
Oh.
That's how I was able to earn my fortune, so that I had enough funds to begin Libraria's book festival.
Oh, the happy ending.
So this is a philanthropist. You are like a philanthropist?
I would say I am a philanthropist. I wouldn't say I'm like a philanthropist.
I will say you are too.
Yeah, let's take that like out of there and then just say, no, this is who I am.
You are a benefactor.
A maker of positive change.
Yes.
Had no one thought of having a book fair until then?
Well, this is the tragedy, because Libraria is a planet inhabited solely by writers, and we had no funds to make any money because we couldn't buy each other's books because we were too busy trying to pay for the self-publication of our own works.
Yes.
We had no discretionary income. But then, when Roger burned down our college dormitory, all of a sudden, when I had moved in my freshman year, people said, Simulon, you are a fool for taking out an insurance policy on this dormitory. That is not how a college freshman operates. That's not your responsibility. You just have to live here. Why are you inserting yourself into the university's decisions? And I said, hear me out. I just like to be safe.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfectly reasonable.
And then when I had all this money, I said, wait a second, I can start this book festival in my planet, bring in tourism. All of a sudden we had tourists coming in, paying authors to live with them, because who doesn't like to live with a writer?
I would say writers' wives don't like living with writers.
Sounds like writing and arson are two big things on your planet.
Yeah, they are our two pastimes. There's an old Libraria saying, and I'm trying to translate it into a rough approximation of your language, but it translates roughly into, if I'm not reading, I'm burning.
Ooh, I must write that down.
Yes.
Another poem just came to me. Fire, fire, you're my desire.
That's very good. Yeah, very good.
Getting to the core of librarians.
Yes.
Librarians love fire.
Or writing, you are exciting. We have got two competing poems with each other.
Oh, I mean, now you've doubled your poem outtake, Trellis.
Yes, 4.
You've inspired me.
No, this isn't a pamphlet anymore. This is a chapbook.
Or a fold-out.
Mm-hmm.
A trifold.
Yeah, how many more will emerge from this interview? That's what.
If it's a trifold, I need 2 more.
I will just let it flow, Trellis.
It will. Don't make me force it, Horatio.
Oh, no. Let's.
It's got to come to me. I have to have the inspiration hit, and right now, Simulon is my muse.
Oh, bless you.
I want to know about organization on your planet. My planet is notoriously disorganized.
Well, thank you so much, Horatio, because organization is my third passion after reading and arson. There was the great Libraria inhabitant, Relvin Rui. Relvin Rui created the Rui Resimal system.
Yes.
And the way the Rui Resimal system works is books are shelved according to how much you rue or regret reading them. And then the resimal, of course, is how hard it is to wrestle with either the themes that the book presents or with the physical book itself. Like if it's a very big book and you have to really wrestle to close it, then it would be shelved in a different spot than maybe an easier book to pin down.
I know I was reading a sentient book one time, and it was difficult to put down because it would not let me. It just grasped onto my hands, and I tried to close it, put it down, it wouldn't let me.
Oh, I had the same problem with parasitic books, because I'll be reading one and enjoying it, and then all of a sudden realizing, why am I lightheaded? And I'll realize it's because the book has latched on to me and is sucking vital life fluids from my body.
That could be a challenge, especially if you've got a chapter to go and you want to know what happens next, but you just are too weak.
No, well, that is how I lost my 30th eye.
Oh!
You are too polite to draw attention to the vacant eye socket.
I thought that was a fashion choice.
I didn't want to stare at it. I mean, while it wouldn't have noticed me staring at it, the other 38 eyes would have seen me staring at the eyes. And
right.
I just made sure to try and pull back and make it look like I was looking at everything.
Right. Well, and that's a problem, because then the vacant eye socket, all of a sudden people are, oh, is that acne? Is that a pockmark?
Yes.
Is that a portal to another world?
Yes.
Possibly a black hole on your face?
If I rub it, will a genie appear and grant me several wishes?
Common reactions to a hole in a face.
Will it? Is that a possibility?
On the 6th moon of the cycle, if you do rub my eye socket, a kindly genie named Lavinia Hortense emerges and grants 6 wishes.
Lavinia Hortense.
That's amazing. Is that everybody on your planet, or you have to have an empty eye socket?
You have to have an empty eye socket. That's why gouging has.
You're forcing it. Well, I would think it'd have to be more of an accidental thing, though. Otherwise, I would just gouge out all my eyes except for maybe 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that's like 20, 30 genies all at once. That's a lot of wishes.
You bring up a good point, Trellis. If the eye is dislodged naturally, as happened with me when I was reading my parasitic book,
yes.
then you get a better quality genie. Oh. If you self gouge or self mutilate, if what we like to call
a street magician.
Yes, you'll get, and those are fun. There's a time and place for them. But every 6th moon, if all of a sudden a street magician pops out of your eye and wants you to pick a card, you're like, well, this gets old fast.
Plus, you've got 38 eyes. How hard would it be to actually follow the cards? There's 3 of them. That's basically 13 eyes per card. I mean,
there's no mystery. For someone like me, I'm like, well, yes, 3 of my eyes were paying attention to what you wanted me to, but the other 36 were tracking exactly what you didn't want me to see, and now I have to be the wet blanket who's telling everybody, well, this is how they did it.
Those are the most fun people at parties for me.
Well, yes.
Especially at I'm sure the book club.
especially when we're reading mysteries, such as your ex-spouse Carol's saga. When someone is saying, "Well, this is how the author did it," or "This is what happens," or "I was able to predict it," that's the person I gravitate towards, and I'm like, "You,
Yes.
I want to spend more time with you."
I bet in Carol's book, this Ellis character, I would imagine he's quite the Lothario.
Or does he only think he's a Lothario?
This is what's so fascinating, Horatio, because he thinks he is a Lothario because he is a Lothario.
Ooh, twist.
So in alternating chapters, you see all the other characters that Ellis is seducing and wooing. And in any other mystery, if the victim had such a wide roster of past lovers, you would think, well, all of these lovers of who Ellis has loved and left, well, they're natural suspects as the perpetrator of the crime. They all had such, and they had like financial and sexual and emotional and motives to kill him. But since we have read in the first page that Marjorie was the person who killed Ellis, we know that these people are just people that he's emotionally abused.
Yeah, they're giving the rest of the book is basically all the reasons why Ellis was murdered.
Yes.
What I enjoy about it is because we don't just get one reason why Ellis shouldn't be alive. We get multiple reasons that the author explicates through the different characters.
Now, in the end, should we care that Ellis died or not? Is that something in there? Or does the author leave it up to you to really care?
Well, Horatio, at the end of the book, the last page, that question is posed to the reader.
Oh.
And it says, should we care that Ellis died? And then you take the pen that comes with the book and you make your choice. And then you turn the next page and then you see the results of the poll in real time. And then you turn the next page and that's a mirror and you're forced to confront yourself.
Oh.
And with parallel thinking, then you're thinking, well, if Ellis deserved to die, do I deserve to die?
I'm not sure I'd be able to get past the mirror page. I might get stuck on that one for a while.
Oh,
He would stay there for a long time, try out different looks, trying out different outfits, possibly with some jazzy music playing and montage kind of effect.
that's what's fun about reading. There's no right way or wrong way to read a book with a mirror on it.
No, of course not.
And that comes with a free pen. That's just good marketing. Who doesn't like a free pen?
That immediately attracted me was the free pen, because I have trouble holding onto pens, which is why I tend to write in condiments.
Yeah.
I want to see if this was ever adapted into a mini-series of film, how that would change the ending. If it would just be many conflicting endings, people saying yes, no, yes, no.
Well, Horatio, this is what's so exciting because Carol would kill me. She would set me on fire if she knew I was saying this. But
That's generally the way she reacts to anything.
yes.
She's not very good at it. Don't worry about it. You're fine. She can't even strike a match.
She feels compelled to try.
Yeah.
Her species has no fingers or opposable thumbs, so any sort of Tinder-based functionality just isn't there.
And Flint is a very rare element on her world.
Oh, we've had some chuckles just watching Carol take a matchstick and try to just wipe it against whatever abrasive source she can find. Anyway, that's a segue. It is being adapted to a radio drama.
Oh my!
So it's going to have a 7-part radio drama, and it will be mirrorless. So that is why so many of the Carol heads are up and they're already talking about how this isn't an accurate adaptation of the book.
Yeah, have you written have you written anything that would be worthy of your own book festival?
Oh.
My debut novel is coming out, and it is a mystery about a gardener who is murdering plants.
Ooh. Do we know from the first page that he's murdering plants?
Yes. Yeah, the first page, the gardener says, "I'm a gardener who murders plants."
Oh, right in the beginning.
Oh, and so it's told from his perspective. It's wonderful. I think you asked me a question about Carol's radio drama adaptation.
Yes.
There is no mirror. Fans are upset, but there is a big pen that every viewer gets.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Well, then I will see it. I will watch it.
Yeah.
For the free pen.
Is that like one of those oversized prize checks? It's like an oversized prize pen?
Yes. Every person who listens to the radio drama, Carol comes to their house with an oversized pen, and she gives it
And
to them.
presents it to them.
Yes.
Perhaps, Trellis, when the book's delivered, perhaps I don't know, I can say that you're out, that you're busy or in the restroom or something.
Probably for the best. Because
Yes.
while she can't start a fire, I certainly felt the heat from her glare.
Yes.
Well, this has been fascinating. I feel like a literary giant in the universe now.
Well,
I'm thinking. Go ahead. Please.
Oh,
please.
I was going to say I don't mean to be rude, but I am meeting Carol for drinks.
Right. Yes.
We should decide what the entry is.
What do you want for the entry then?
I like let Vision take the wheel.
Ooh.
Or
Libraria.
Let Vision take the wheel.
Sometimes you get the street genie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I also liked when you were called a bloviating raconteur, but that doesn't work for the.
That's me. That's not.
No, I know, and that's why it doesn't work. But I just like that was said about you. If I'm not reading, I'm burning.
Oh, there you go. That's it. I'm
not
typing that
reading.
in.
I typed that in.
I'm not reading. Burning. Enter. This has been fascinating, and
We have to have you back at some point because I want to talk more about your the organizational system.
the book festival, and since you are heading out, I didn't get 6, but maybe my trifold will just have a picture of me on the front, and I've got a 5th poem, and you can pass this along to Carol. Carol, I shouldn't have called you Cheryl.
Oh, much truth. I wrote one.
Well, let's hear it, Horatio.
I wrote one. And that the shrimp in my ear need not cause you fear. It doesn't really make sense with what we were talking about. It just rhymes.
It needs work. You brought the room down again.
That's what good poets do. That's what good poets do.
Apparently, I'm an exceptional poet. Thank you for joining us for Hitchhikers and Appetizers. And of course, special thanks goes to our guest, Simulon Webcracks. I have been Horatio Zinn.
And I continue to be Trellis Gardeen. Until next time, keep your towels clean, and if you find yourself in an alternate universe where time runs backwards, just think of all the fun that awaits you when you wake up from the hangover you suddenly have before going to bed. So don't panic.
Everything you heard in this episode was improvised, but not everything improvised was heard. This episode of Hitchhikers and Appetizers featured the voice talents of Mike Gorgone as Trellis Gardeen, Bran Peacock as Horatio Zinn, and Brendan Dowling as Simulon Webcracks. Finally, Hitchhikers and Appetizers is part of the Improv in Action Network. Check out other great improvised podcasts and projects at improvinaction.com. If you'd like to reach out to Trellis or Horatio, you can send electronic messages to them at our Galaxy address, hitchappspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find them on Twitter with the handle hitchapps.
Shut up and sit down.